What is up, YouTube? How's it going? I hope everyone had a very safe 4th of July weekend. I know I had a blast getting days off work and getting to hang out with the family and look at fireworks and stuff. It's just always a good weekend. And speaking of the weekend, me and some of my teammates were getting a lot of reps in here on MTG Arena with some new like deck concepts and some ideas. And this one really kind of stood out. Shout out to Corky, someone from the community that I was getting a lot of games in with, and the video we showcased today, like the matchup, is against him. If you guys want to get games in with me, I'm always live on Twitch, as well as you just comment down below or hop in the Discord server and tag me, and I'm always down to get reps in with anyone. Anyway, if you like the video and you want to continue seeing Deck of the Week content, be sure to please hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate y'all for taking the time and, you know, enjoying the spiciness with me. So diving straight into the list, we do run Scavenging Ooze. I feel as though most deck lists right now that have access to green, Scavenging Ooze is just so good at the moment. Being able to turn 2 cast Scavenging Ooze, turn 3 deal with any of the Uros, as well as some like the Jund Sacrifice lists, Rakdos Sacrifice, pretty much anything that plays out of the graveyard, it just is really strong with. Now the ultimate goal between like from our deck lists overall, like if we were to say, yes, this is the combo that popped off, this is what it is. It's basically you want to have Terror of the Peaks on the battlefield, and then you want to cast a Gyruda, which is going to mill both libraries. And in a perfect world, you hit a Spark Double, and then you re-trigger Gyruda, and then you hit another Gyruda or a Spark Double. You just keep recasting more and more stuff from the graveyard. And every single trigger of something coming onto the battlefield is triggering Terror Peaks. So you're adding to the stack of 6 points of damage if they're Gyrudas, 7 points of damage if it's a Spark Double, 6 points of damage if it's Thassa, 4 points if it's Questing Beast. If Terror Peaks is on the battlefield, even a 3-drop Uro turns into a double bolt for 6 mana total, or excuse me, 6 damage total. An even more perfect situation is to have Terror of the Peaks on the battlefield and then resolve Genesis Ultimatum, where you can just get like 5 creatures all hit the battlefield at the same time. That's pretty much guaranteed GG if that resolves. So overall, that's like the ultimate, like what you're trying to do with this deck. Now going into the ramp side of it, we do run Growth Spirals. Whenever you have access to green and blue, it's like almost a no-brainer. Llanowar Visionary, I'm a little bit on the fence about. The reason why I went this route over some of the other ramp options is it does provide us access to mana. It gives us card draw, as well as it synergizes well with our Thassa. So like if we're still like not hitting our gas pedal or something like that, we can resolve Thassa and then just keep reflickering Visionary at the end of our upkeep and keep drawing cards to kind of put us into a position that we want to be in. And then Uro, which is just obviously, you know, another ramp option. And then Spark Doubles here to copy pretty much anything in our list. We have Questing Beast, Terror Peaks, Gyruda, all of these great options for Spark Double targets, preferably probably Terror Peaks. And then in a perfect world, you're getting Spark Doubles off Gyruda hits, and then you're just kind of recopying Gyruda and getting more and more triggers. And then for the rest of the deck list, we just kind of already explained like the point of our combos and stuff. So let's look at the sideboard. We do have our counter magic package with Aether Gust, Negates, and Mystical Disputes. Usually you kind of bring those in during like the Ban or Tamir Wreck matchups. If it has access to green, like you see a lot of Nissas, stuff like that, that's when you bring your Aether Gust. If you're going more of like a Azorius control or something like that, maybe it's just the Negates and Mystical Disputes. We do run Wilts as a versatile use of being against like the Jund Sac, Rakdos Sac, as well as the Tamir Wreck, which we're starting to see quite a bit of on the ladder. Against the creature heavy decks, it does really well against Embercleave, considering you do have the mana up for it. Flame Sweep and Lovestruck Beast are both for creature heavy decks. Flame Sweep a little bit more so on the like the low end, like Luris to mono red to anything with two or less, as well as Lovestruck Beast to kind of hold that pressure on their side of the battlefield while simultaneously allowing you to ramp into your big heavy hitters. Once you're starting to cast your Terror Peaks and your Gyrudas, stuff like that, then you're kind of golden. But Lovestruck Beast allows you to get there, as well as provide a big body, and it's actually a pretty decent force to apply pressure with and kind of forces them to interact with it. So Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop straight into the gameplay. Once again, appreciate you for your time. Alrighty, so going up against my good buddy Corky. I forgot what deck list he was running off the top of my head. We've gotten so many games in between the making of this video and actual commentary over it. All right, so looking at that hand, what I'm looking for, so the perfect opening hand is decent mana with the ability to ramp. Now this is just like semi okay here. I'm never like the hugest fan of Uro being the ramp card. I usually want the Growth Spiral in hand would be perfect. Growth Spiral and Uro, solid. 2 Growth Spirals, even better. But usually you want a source of ramp in your hand from the get-go. That's usually what I kind of mull for, as well as obviously the mana to be able to cast it. I went ahead and cracked my Fabled Passage. I didn't really have anything else going on turn 1. I guess I could have just let Stomping Grounds or Steam Vents come in untapped. Could have been a viable option as well. However, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. I just want to be able to ensure I was able to cast Uro turn 3, and in case maybe I did draw into like a Growth Spiral or something like that, I wanted to have it online. I guess I could have either way. Stomping Ground, Steam Vents. Okay, so I do hit another mana. We're gonna go ahead and cast it and then probably drop Uro. I'm a little bit on the fence of going Questing Beast here, which I could have hit and then started dealing 4 points of damage. Seeing what I'm going up against now, I'm like, maybe I'll go ahead and fight for the ramp here. Looks like he goes Growth Spiral. We could see his own Uro drop, possibly, maybe. Krasis, he's trying to get a body out. Oof, that is rough, absolutely rough. So we're gonna go ahead and drop our Fabled Passage, and then we're gonna punish him with Questing Beast. And it looks like the ball's sort of in our court now. Some things we're kind of sort of worried about is, I guess, like maybe a bounce back or something like that. We do have the Gyruda in hand, so if we are to hit like another mana here, we could drop Gyruda and start hoping to get more spark doubles or something like that. He casts his Nissa out. We're gonna go ahead and just put a blue, maybe flex a Mystical Dispute or something like that. I guess Mystical Dispute wouldn't pop off for Nissa. My bad. Never mind, guys. Ignore what I'm saying. So he gets a 3/3 out. He shouldn't attack with it, as Questing Beast would easily kill it. Sure. I think we're supposed to Growth Spiral into the Uro. Growth Spiral mainly because if we get something that we can cast for 3, it's a little bit more value. I'm going to go ahead and press in with Questing Beast. Sure. Looks like he needs the mana. We're going to go ahead and I guess we'll do Uro. It doesn't really matter too much either way, right? So we do hit our Terror Peaks, which is going to be nice. Growth Spiral, get another mana. Sure. So that means Gyruda is online too. So not only do we have Terror Peaks, but we also have Gyruda. Yes. And what's exciting about that is Terror Peaks comes in, resolves. This is over the course of 2 turns, it looks like. Terror Peaks resolves, Gyruda resolves. So that's 6 points of damage going to face. Gyruda's going to proc, mill 4 cards from each side of the graveyards, and then cast a creature among those 4 cards from either or side, and then maybe get another trigger from Terror Peaks. Maybe punch in for lethal. Solemn Simulacrum. Something we're starting to see people play around with in some of these Bant or Tamir rec lists. Nissa has been an absolute powerhouse for most of the metagame, at least as of recently, from both the Bant side, the Tamir rec side. I'm gonna go ahead and try to attempt my Terror Peaks. He obviously doesn't have any cards in hand, so it should be good to resolve. I'm kind of thinking about whether or not it's worth. I think I'm still supposed to offer up the Questing Beast, because then it would cost 2 for 1, and then that's taking away 2 of his lands, And I think that's just worth it. I think the value's there. So I'm gonna go ahead and offer up the trade. He takes it, great. If not, I still get to punch 4 points of damage in and kill Nissa. So it looks like that's exactly what happened. We're able to take his Nissa away. I don't know why he let me do that. I think if anything, I probably would have single blocked at the very least, maybe double blocked, because that's given me another opportunity to look at my terror peaks and say, you know, I'm gonna hit Nissa with it instead of his face. I mean, obviously in real scenario I would go face, but it gives me that option. Maybe I'll make a mistake. So I'm doing the math here. I could probably just Gyruda anyway, right? I'm thinking whether or not I could do maybe an Uro and then get another value out of it. Can I do the 3-drop Uro, drop breeding pool, and then get the other Uro out and get 2 triggers? Anyway, we're gonna go with the combo here. We're gonna do 6 points to face. Looking at my graveyard, I got another Gyruda, so that's lethal. That's just automatically lethal. Boom. Doesn't matter which one I keep. And bada bing, bada boom. Do we hit another one? We hit a spark double. And now, because this is my buddy, this is my pal, we're gonna go ahead and flex a little bit. Obviously, I don't want to be like in a tournament situation and flexing combos and cards on people just to be a mean person. This is my boy, and whenever you're playing against your boys, you gotta flex all the way. You gotta do as much possible damage as humanly possible. That's right. Even the words for that sentence were in correct order. And we get a Thess. Oh yeah. And then Thassa at the end step would just reflicker Gyruda, getting just absolutely buku damage. Sure. Look at that stack right now, guys. And then we still had what? 3 times 6? What is that? 18 points of damage coming in after that. So it would have been at negative 20. All right, so it looks like we bring in our counter magic package. This is something I'm kind of working on as far as like what to trim, what not to trim. I do feel as though Llanowar Visionary is always kind of a go-to decent, good trim. A lot of people would say something like, well, if you're always trimming it, why is it in there to begin with? Well, being able to ramp farther, draw cards, and then at least have a 2/2 body in the blind matchup where you don't know who you're going up against in the ladder, it's just always a good thing. Whether I'm going against like mono red, that's a 2/2 body right there, or if I'm going against control or I'm drawing cards to get more mana, it's still a solid play. But it's like on that mediocre line where it's okay to go ahead and trim it for the actual cards that you really need. I hope I can explain that correctly. I do trim one of them. I think more recently I've been trimming all 3. We do have 4 available still. We could even potentially trim one of the Genesis Ultimatums. So okay, so we do get rid of the other 3, or the other 2, excuse me. Probably go down to 1 Thassa, I'm assuming, and then I mean, we could even do one more Scavenging Ooze. We do know that he runs the Uro, so we would like to have an Ooze available to us. So I guess we trim 1 Ultimatum, and then we should do 1 Thassa, yeah. Because it kind of feels bad, man, hitting 2 Thassas when, I mean, you really only need 1 on the battlefield. It's indestructible. It can be exiled, yes, and it can be minus, but I feel like there's so many more. By the time you're hitting those points, there's so many more like weapons on the battlefield that you're just kind of focused on that. All right, so this is an oof hand. No, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and mulligan. A little bit better. We got our so this is what I'm talking about, guys. We have our ramp. We have the mana to play the ramp. This is a keep. Trying to decide what I get rid of. I'm thinking one of the passages. A little bit of a risky move, but I think one of the passages goes. We're gonna go ahead and have our breeding pool coming in tapped, as well as the next one come in shocked, depending on what we draw. We do get 2 looks. So here's the first look. We do hit another breeding pool, which is good for us. And then we're gonna get another look going into the next breeding pool, in which we'll cast Growth Spiral, especially if he casts something. Looks like he's going down to 1 mana. Now we are susceptible to things like a Mystical Dispute, and that is something that actually kind of can get underneath us and get the victory versus us, is a lot of counter magic and stopping our ramp capabilities. Something like Mystical Dispute against our Growth Spiral here. While it's not like a oh we're done kind of situation, but it is something that we have to be cognizant of, and something that could absolutely put an end to our little combo we're trying to get going, because we're not able to draw and put cards out in the battlefield. So next turn, it's looking like an Uro. We're kind of hoping to draw into another red source, so that way Terror of the Peaks can become playable and can be put online, as well as Genesis Ultimatum, etc., etc. So we do hit a red source. Look at us. Now don't tell me I punt. I feel like I remember punting and dropping a breeding pool. I'm thinking to myself, okay, drop the Stomping Ground. Drop it. No? Okay. I think I'm trying to see if I hit a Growth Spiral or not. That's why I was doing that. If I hit the Growth Spiral, I would shock in the Stomping Ground. If I didn't hit the Growth Spiral, then I would just do it like that. Dig for a red source. There it is. Okay, so now we're good. Terror Peaks is online. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of mana. 2 more mana. We have Genesis Ultimatum online, so we're kind of hoping to hit 1 more. We have like what, 2 more looks before it's kind of an issue. Solemn Simulacrum, sure. So he's doing his little ramp portion. He's just swinging. Like I said, we're boys. Give me for 0, sure. I should have done Breeding Pool. A little bit of a mistake on my part. I was supposed to have Breeding Pool come in tapped and not have to take another 2 points of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this next Breeding Pool should allow us to Genesis Ultimatum and then hit Buku creatures. Oh, gross. It's heartbreaking, but I guess we're gonna go ahead and be a turn behind. He does have the Uqin, which is gonna be a little bit iffy. If we do so this is something we have to consider here. If he has the Uqin, if I play Terror Peaks out now, he just casts Uqin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess he has another mana, 6. Then he just zaps Terror Peaks, right? I guess that's assuming he has the next mana in hand, but we're gonna go ahead and we have 2 ultimatums, may as well. We hit the Gyruda. Mystical Dispute, which is nice because we do have the blue mana online too. Oof. Oof. We'll go ahead and take a Solemn Simulacrum. Sure, we'll dig for a mana. Sure, we'll go ahead and ramp just a little bit farther. Now, it was a little bit unfortunate. That Aether Gust really helped them out by bouncing back Terror Peaks. Otherwise, we'd have gotten 8 points of damage here. Okay, so he did get the mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He could cast Uqin here, which could be a little bit of trouble. He does see that I have the Terror Peaks in hand, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he sits on Uqin until I cast it, and then he can cast his and then kill mine. As Gyruda is just, he's done his thing, and he's on the battlefield, so he's going to go ahead and cast it. Okay, a little bit spicy. He's going to go ahead and put his +1 out. Maybe he's trying to set up for the next turn. He also could know that I have the Terror Peaks in hand, so I'm not going to get the immediate trigger off of him. Unless I keep ramping like this, because if I were to have like a hand cast Uro, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I mean, I could even Terror Peaks an Uro. So I think I'm supposed to Terror Peaks here. Hope he sticks. Either way, we get to kill Uro. What is that? 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could actually Genesis Ultimatum too on top of the Terror Peaks. This is the combo you want to set up, guys. This is what you want to happen. I didn't even do the math correctly, and we have enough to do both. No, don't Uro. I hope I didn't do that. Okay, or I could probably just Uro, right? I think it's probably the safer play, but that's lame. That is super lame. Just Genesis Ultimatum and just end it. Just end it. Although, you know what? That's why I did it. Because if I whiffed with the ultimatum, then Uqin just blows up Terror Peaks. That makes sense. I mean, it is the safer play. I get what I was doing. But, I mean, You got Genesis Ultimatum in hand with the Terror Peaks on the battlefield while he's tapped out. It's a very great situation. But actually, I take back what I said. I think I made the right play by guaranteeing a 6 points of damage to take out the Uqin. Genesis Ultimatum would be great, but if I whiffed, then we're put into a bad situation. So I made the right play. It just hurts. Okay, so he has 2 cards in hand. He's got his Krasis, which is a 5/5. We're gonna go ahead and just Mystical Dispute it. He still gets to draw his cards, gain his life, but he's not going to have a 5/5 blocker out there, allowing us to open up the battlefield for Terror Peaks. And now's the Genesis Ultimatum time. Let's see what we hit. Questing. So it was a good move. Looks like the next 5 cards, we did not hit a 6 or 5 drop card. So it looks like we actually made the right decision. Uqin would have lived had we done the Genesis Ultimatum here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana available. 7. Could we do another Genesis? We could do another Genesis now. Nice. So here comes another trigger off Terror Peaks. Looks like we're gonna get 3 creatures out. I think I just go ahead and flex and just pay them. I guess we'll just keep that arrow and that Mr. Questerson. So we're gonna get a couple triggers here. Boom, boom, boom. And we get to keep our Mystical Dispute online. And then we get to just re-trigger Thassa onto Gyruda at the end of turn. Look at this combo that's going on right now. That is just absolutely bonkers. I mean, may as well attack with Questing Beast, right? And Terror Peaks. That alone will be lethal. Oh, I guess he has the Grazer, right? You could block Terror Peaks. You know, that's not the first time I forget that Arboreal Grazer has reach. The amount of times I've bounced the back flyers like, okay, I'm dealing lethal, and then forget that Grazer has it. Anyway, so end of turn, Thassa's our synergy. Look, all of our synergy this game has actually gone off as planned and as intended. So we're gonna get another trigger from Gyruda. We hit a spark double, looks like. Oof, gross. Gross. We get another trigger from Terror Peaks and another Gyruda and another spark double. And like I said, guys, if you're in like a tournament situation or whatever, you know, you don't want to be, you know, that guy. But against your boys, you have to stack as much damage as possible on them, especially if you're in like a kitchen table rule setting or something like that. We're gonna hit another Gyruda. We're actually about to mill ourselves, but let's go ahead and ping him again. Look at the stack right now. Look how much damage is being put out, and then another spark double. that Thassa, it's the Thassa that reflickered Gyruda and then triggered our overall combo. So anyway, it was just too much fun. All right, as you guys can see, super fun list, especially when it pops off. It's just such a good time. Oof. Anyway, if you liked the video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I truly appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come and watch my video and see the funness that it could provide. I'm hoping to put together a new list that's relatively similar. I've got a couple ideas on the mind. Anyway, if you haven't already, make sure you follow me on my social medias. At Kevin Raisins is my Twitter. Scottoria is my Twitch. And then, of course, Scottoria is my YouTube here. So see you guys again next week.